All right, guys, I'm gonna do a kind of a review, walk around video of my 2010 Tigé RZ2. It's a 22-foot wakeboard sport surf boat, and I've owned it for about a year, a little over, and done a lot of upgrades, a little bit of maintenance stuff, but it's been a good boat. It's never given me any trouble. Tigé boats is a little bit smaller of a brand versus something like a Mastercraft or Malibu or anything like that. So I kind of like that too. I almost say more of like a boutique brand. I'll point out some of the things that I've changed, so that way if you're looking at getting one, you know, you might be like, well, why does mine not have that? And that's because, like I said, I've made some upgrades. So so yeah, that's that. Exterior, I did a full ceramic coat, buffed it. The graphics are supposed to be this color, but they faded a little bit over time. But I think this boat spent a lot of its life in a slip until I got it and then keep it on the trailer. So trailers definitely has a little bit of wear and tear. Some of it's bug splatter, some of it's rock chips, but it's kind of cool at night. It lights up Tigé, which is kind of cool. The graphics to me on the black actually look pretty good. I don't really know what I would do differently. I feel like it'd be kind of blank. I like Mastercraft, how they're doing like the raised lettering, kind of like the Tigé on the back. But I think on the newer boats, they're kind of getting away from stickers for the fading and going more towards the emblems. But for its time, I think Tigé was really ahead of the game. They had these pop-out cleats, which is really nice. All LED lighting for your marker lights, and then up top even two. You had two that projected. One was here and one was here. All that stuff works, which is pretty cool. This one was also a pickle fork design, so you ended up getting a little more space in your front bow area whenever you had people in there. There was a filler cushion and then a little slide in piece that, you know, kind of kept the air out of that whole cabin. On this one, I guess the last person lost both of those, but that is a nice touch if your boat, or if you're looking at one of these that has that as an option. Full wet sound system. I'll get into all that in the inside. A lot of cup holders throughout. There's cup holders up top, quite a few up front there. Good amount of storage. The only negative in this bow is there's this one has a surf package, so there's more ballast underneath all three of those. So the only storage you have is a little tiny bit up here for an anchor, but most people's anchors are so big now that it doesn't fit anyways. Tinted glass. I think it's a nice touch. I like it dark. My truck's the same way. Little Tigé logo. Tower's pretty cool. I liked this design versus some of the older boats of this era. I thought this looked pretty cool on how it, oh, my watch thought I was talking to it, on how it housed the speakers. So I think it was a really nice looking design. A lot of people ask if the speakers get in the way. I don't think so. It does go pretty deep, and when I get up there, I'll show it to you. But you have a couple different empty port here for the ballast. You have them on pretty much all four corners, just because there's ballast bags in the front, like I was telling you, and then in the rear. This does have dual gas fill, so you can fill on either side, which is a really nice touch. And then trailer is a boat mate. It's a pretty good trailer. It's been giving me a little bit of trouble with braking, things like that, but I've been trying to keep up with some of that maintenance. And then the tires, I think all in all, it being kind of aluminum and stuff like that, it's a good trailer. It's pretty nice. I think it's a mix between aluminum and steel, so it hasn't really given me any issues. I do like the boat tie downs back here. I had a Mastercraft that didn't have those, and I was going to add them, so I kind of like that. And then up underneath, you have, this is like Tigé's, I think they call it taps, Tigé adjustable plate system. So that does help with surfing. It's not like your rear tabs where you have them on each side, but that does actually help adjust the wave. I installed this. This is a surf exhaust. I'll try to leave the link. It's a smaller company, but they actually custom made this, all aluminum, and then they welded it. It might actually be titanium, but nonetheless, I'll leave the link. Pretty sweet. This kind of goes down and into the water. You don't smell it, you don't hear it. The V8 does sound cool, but when you're trying to surf and have your speakers on and things like that, it doesn't, it just doesn't work that well. Of course, it being a V drive, you have your prop up underneath there, a couple lights in the back, which is kind of a nice touch. This does come off the swim platform if you need to for storage. And then we'll get up on the back here. And speaking of storage, it is a little dirty since it's been out here on the lot, but you do have storage for shoes is what we keep in there, cup holders, a little spot to sit that's padded when you're hanging out, you know, in the water or putting a board on. A little more storage. And then you do have the controller. So controllers for sound, and it's really nice when you have, you know, the engine off and you're just hanging out on the back. You can adjust your sound if you want to up or down when you're just hanging out. Storage on both sides, engine in the middle. I'll go ahead and flip up this side first. You do have ballast bags underneath, some life jackets, but you can see the plumbing for all your ballast bags, and then you can see the edge of it down there. So basically it's 4 hard tanks and then 4 soft. That's basically what it equates to. And then I'll show you this side. Probably see a little more over here. Does have an inverter, basically like a battery charger, where you can plug it in and trickle charge your batteries, which is really nice if you're not using it in between times. This is the bag, so you can see the plumbing just runs in and fills up the bags. Still has enough for storage. It's about 2,000 pounds of onboard ballast, which is pretty good for the waves that we surf, just being, you know, kind of an intermediate surfer. It's a GM Vortec. It's a Excalibur 343 from PCM, 343 horsepower. It's got the high altitude prop on it, and honestly, all in all, it does great. I mean, a lot of people complain or say that they need a little more power. Loaded down with the boat's capacity of people, which I think is around 15, and then weight on board with that 2,000 pounds. I've never had this motor struggle, so no complaints there at all. Kind of a big open, I'm gonna see if I can't zoom out here, wide seating area. So these kind of flip up and down. You saw that when I was stepping in and out, so that's kind of nice. You're not stepping on your seats. Seams over time wore down pretty good. This is from the last owner. I actually recently had this restitched, all of this. I'll zoom back in so you can see it. So I had all this restitched, and then this corner turned out really, really good. I tried to salvage that last one. Had them kind of redo some of the vinyl throughout the corners because they were really bad. Again, restitched everything. So all this is in really good shape. Just a local guy that did that in the Denver area, and I'm pretty impressed. So those are good. You have a little bit of under seat storage. Everything's been kind of hot and sticky, so I don't know if it's gonna come up, but I guess we'll have to pop that up first. There we go. Okay. You know, that's a prime example of, you know, something I don't really love is these kind of get sticky together and with the heat, and then it's kind of a pain to open and close it. So really just storage underneath here. They don't really give you any dividers to actually organize it, so it's kind of a mess. I hate that. You know, I hate my boat when it looks like that, but we're towards the end of the season and you need to clean some of that up anyways. That's really the only storage though. Underneath this cushion is, it's probably gonna do the same thing. It certainly is. It's a cooler. Hold on. Here we go. So a cooler underneath this one. And then nothing underneath here because you have the motor, and then a little storage up front here. I put in a 12-inch kicker sub. You have all the Wet Sounds subs. There's 2 total. There's one down here, one here, and then a kicker. So I have 3 amps total. 12-inch comp C definitely eats up a lot of your storage space. So now there's not really any for boards or anything like that, but they are pass-throughs. You can open them from the front, and there's a little storage over there that I'll show you too. So we'll flip that down. In here, glove box has a good amount of storage. There's a little Clarion, you know, factory deck, pretty good amount of storage in there, boat registrations, things like that. And then on this side, you have your captain's chair that does flip up. And then it's mesh, so your wet swimsuit will dry pretty quick, which is a nice touch. Throttle is pretty easy. You have your taps plate adjustment on the front. Whistle here, just in case. The horn actually stopped working, so that's why that's there. Forward and reverse, of course. Really nice steering wheel, little aluminum accents. Down below you have the Wet Sounds subwoofer. It's super weak, so that's why I added on the 12-inch. And then you have just a driver, you know, traditional like 6-inch. So there's 6 throughout the cabin. There's 2 in the back, 2 mid, and then 2 forward of the ship here. And so those actually sound pretty good. The sound system gets really loud actually. And then you have, I put in 2 new Rev 8s. So these were the standard. I think they were the, I'll have to put a link, but they're older. They don't make them anymore. Where they do make the Rev 8s now. So that's the new version of this. And there's 4 up there, so they're pretty loud. Up top, this little guy does flip down, so you have, you know, you can tow riders or you can have your light on top, which is actually kind of nice. Bimini holes for the bimini to get up there. I just have it laying down right now so it doesn't get damaged. Little trash can. I really liked that touch. I thought that's kind of fun. 15-person capacity, like I was saying. Your front glass splits here so you can walk through, and then, like I was saying, no storage, only a little bit there. Couple cup holders. It does have LED lights, and then these flip up for storage on both sides. We just have some tubes in that one, but all in all, pretty good boat. Really what I think this boat, you know, being 12 years old, the space that it fills is, you know, a $50,000 to $60,000 boat that gets you out on the lake and surfs, and that's really what it's good at. I'll show you guys a couple of the controls and then we'll wrap up the video here. So this turns on. This is Tigé Boats. You have a little bit of buttons over here that is touchscreen. We're gonna mute it and then turn off the blower. The blower automatically always comes on, which is kind of nice. Obviously, if you're gonna start your boat. In this case, I'm not. So this one I have about 400 hours on this boat. I think this summer alone we've put on about 100 hours. And like I said, it's been great, you know, with that GM block. So this is kind of your main home screen. That's that button. You have a couple different presets. Speed set is your cruise control, and then sound for the speakers. So if you go into gauges, you have gas on the left. You also have like more of a hard switch on this side, as well as gauges for like speed and tachometer, which I like having the mix. And then when this is on and animated and surfing, you'll have, you know, your digital readout of everything. Your taps plate, which is that rear plate I showed you guys. The depth, which is always right in the middle, one of my favorites. And then when the engine's on, it shows the boat hours. You can click up in the top, or excuse me, you can go home and then click on Tigé U. And then this would be your auto settings. So I have a couple saved in here, surf left, surf right, kind of what I've found to be the right setup. It'll auto fill your ballast and then turn on your taps plate and your cruise control. So you just hit activate and then the whole boat would go, which is really cool. Speed set is cruise. Again, this would turn on automatically, but you could go to like surf, you could go to ski, you could go to just 30-mile-per-hour cruise. You have to turn this off and then set. So then it would go reset. So pretty cool. I think it works pretty well. It being digital, it is a little laggy, but again, it's also 12 years old. So what do you expect? Depth reader, it would actually show like different depths, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you can see it here. Shows your different air temps, lake temp. I don't have some of these features, so I don't have chart plot, which would be like navigation. I don't have DVD player. I don't have Bluetooth, so you just plug in your phone and then you can use like an Apple Watch is what we do. Ballast, it'll show all 4 ballast. They're piggyback systems, so it'll fill up all 8 at the same time, but you just do it per side, which is kind of cool. And then switches, you know, this one has a blower button, but it doesn't have the actual blower, or excuse me, heater. It has a blower and a bilge, but it doesn't have a heater. So for some reason it has the button, but it doesn't do anything. Audio down below. I do like this, how it's integrated. So when your iPhone or something is plugged in, you can just skip songs if you have like a playlist. And then this one also has a Sirius XM built in. It's like a satellite system that's built in for radio. So kind of nice. And then light control, you can do all on right here. And then like I was showing you, you know, lights up there. So we'll turn all those off. We'll go home. We'll flick it off. I did install the bass knob for the kicker underneath. run switch. You do have some different ports like auxiliary and 12 volt. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Give you one last look at the boat and end this video. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I'd say my review, this is my third boat now, and I had a 20-foot Mastercraft last. It was an X2, phenomenal boat. I'd say build quality and fit and finish in the Mastercraft is a little bit higher. I do like the technology in the Tigé, maybe a little more if you're going just apples to apples comparison on year. So yeah, it's a little bit of a trade-off, but I think if you're looking for one of these, I do recommend the boat. I think for the money, like I said, I think I picked this one up around the 50K mark. Then, you know, it's definitely a good buy if you're looking at surfing and kind of getting into it. But if you're looking for something a little more advanced, do spend a little bit more money. And I would recommend getting a 2015 or newer boat in general. So hope that helps. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and take care. Subscribe if you liked what you see. Check out my channel, and we'll see you in the next one.